Live from the corner of Peace in South Lancaster Studios. This is Sports Mind. Get your head in the game. So today is the 26th of April, 2024. Last night in the Metroplex, we had a pretty big event. Cowboys drafted number 29 overall in the first round, Tyler Guy, offensive tackle, Oklahoma. What do we think about that? We love it. Anybody that you can get to protect Dakota Prescott, bring it on. That was one of the main reasons why Dallas seemed to not have it against Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. Go the whole season watching Dallas get manhandled in the trenches. Season prior, you had Ezekiel Elliott playing the bruiser back position, but people fail to realize how important he was to the pass blocking scheme. And when Coach McCarthy decided to let go of Kellen Moore and assume the offensive calling responsibilities for the 2023 season, that was the first question we had as a group. How well will the offensive linemen design pass blocking schemes? Zeke was a big part of the pass blocking scheme in 2022. You lose him. You let go of the guy who utilized him as one of your pass blockers. He was schemed into the offense to block. Instead of bringing in extra offensive linemen, you use Ezekiel Elliott as one of your pass blockers. Then you let him go. So now you have a different scheme for your offense. Your quarterback, 1 year removed from a thumb injury, 2 years removed from a calf injury, and now you decide that you want to scheme, become the offensive play caller. And going through the 2023 season, it was seen that Coach McCarthy wasn't prepared. When he played the Cardinals, wasn't prepared. And they showed you the same thing with Dobbs that they had shown you the previous year with Dobbs at Tennessee when he almost beat the Cowboys on Thursday night. Team didn't learn anything from facing a guy who barely made it to the NFL the season prior. Then you face him third game of the season without your star, Trayvon Diggs, on the cornerback, and you allow Arizona Cardinals to go out there with a guy pretty much like us, sitting in the studio thinking that we still got it, still lifting weights, still walking up the stairs every day, still out here trying to live a dream of throwing a football down the football field. But if you look at that beard on the at Dallas Sports TA2 social media account, you can see all that white in that beard. So there's nothing telling you today that we could go out there and throw the ball 30, 40 times like Dobbs did twice against Dallas Cowboys. Almost beat them on Thursday night in embarrassing fashion over in Nashville. Then come back third game of the season. Dude had just gotten to the city 5 days prior. Didn't even know any other offensive lineman blocking for him. Hey, calling out numbers like they had the combine. And Coach McCarthy, who's assumed head coaching responsibilities and offensive play caller, for the 2023 season decides to go out there with the same game plan that he had unprepared for that Thursday night when they faced Dobbs. Like Dobbs wasn't going to go out there and put up his best foot forward to show out against the Dallas Cowboys in Arizona. When Dallas hasn't beaten a team from the West Coast in almost 4 years, lost to all the AFC West, lost to Arizona when Kyler Murray came here and told the whole world that he wasn't a Dallas Cowboys fan when he was young, while he was winning state championships up there in Allen, Texas. He says Dallas Cowboys were booty wipes. So he wasn't a fan of Cowboys. And today you can see why he would say that. Looking at the way Mike McCarthy ran the organization last year, still losing to the same Arizona Cardinals that just interchanged the quarterback. They had the same game plan. And they didn't even have Cliff Kingsbury as the coach. They had the same game plan from every time they played the Cowboys. And nothing changed. Connor ran all over you, and Dobbs ran all over you. It was Connor running all over you prior, and Kyler Murray running all over you. So that's what tells me Mike McCarthy doesn't learn anything as a head coach. He keeps putting the team in the same situations for the 4 seasons. If anybody has followed us on social media, you will see our hashtag Big Mac's Promise, and it tells you the whole storyline that we've been talking about since Mike McCarthy got here, that he's not the coach to take you to the Super Bowl. He wasn't the coach that took the Green Bay Packers to the Super Bowl. The Green Bay Packers was already a Super Bowl prepared team. Charles Woodson was the reason why that team got to the Super Bowl. Had nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers, Charles Woodson. If everybody remembers, Charles Woodson got hurt and didn't play in the Super Bowl because he balled out the entire season. Not for Mike McCarthy. He was playing for the previous regime. He was happy that somebody had picked him up after the Los Angeles Raiders or Oakland Raiders or wherever Raiders were when Charles Woodson got released. Charles Woodson was ecstatic that a team actually picked him up after the Raiders let him go. So when he went to Green Bay and he balled out, it was his last chance. Mike McCarthy reaped the benefits from that. And if everybody remembers, after Charles Woodson broke his arm and was in the sling, he still dressed out. Dude still dressed out for the Super Bowl because he wanted to let everybody know that I'm with the team. I'm with the team. And everybody talked about Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy being this offensive guru. So then Jason Garrett squanders, 4 years of Dak Prescott. Then you bring in Mike McCarthy, who's essentially the same head coach, grooming Kellen Moore for what? To now be the offensive coordinator of your heated rival, Philadelphia Eagles. That's a story for another thing. But we got into this Mike McCarthy seeming to get off subject. Why did he assume play caller responsibilities and didn't prepare for a better passing game? Tony Pollard wasn't a good pass blocker when Zeke was here. Then you go get Deuce Vaughn. We're bigger than Deuce Vaughn sitting in this chair. No disrespect to Deuce, but these are the things that we see as a fan base. And as DallasSportsTalkRadio.com, Mike McCarthy is not the man for the job. He's going to disappoint the fan base again. They have the team that's Super Bowl ready. You should have fired Mike McCarthy in the middle of the season after they lost to Arizona. Mike McCarthy should have been fired, and Dan Quinn should have been fired. If you would have started fresh, new right then, it would have snapped the team into, oh, Jerry Jones is not playing. Everybody knows Mr. Jones as the owner, but no one knows Jerry Jones as the general manager. And that's where the line has got blurred. Everybody gets here, get comfortable. That's my son's friend. Another one of our hashtags. Check him out on social media at Dallas Sports TA2. You can find hashtag Big Mac's Promise, where we tell you the history of why Mike McCarthy is not the head coach that's going to take the Dallas Cowboys to the Super Bowl in 2024 or 2025 if he seems to save his job since he's on a 1 year deal. And pretty much they're tying that to that Mike McCarthy anchor. Here we go. You got a quarterback that's number two with an arm at the team that everybody wants to see more success. You have a head coach who's the friend of the son of the owner. Just like when Jason Garrett was here. Jason Garrett name and his family name was a part of the Dallas Cowboy organization longer than Mr. Jerry Jones has been the owner of the team. That's what no one gets. When you're building your own legacy, you want your name to hold the most weight. Every day you look in the books, you see 001 Jason Garrett. Then you got 0018 Jerry Jones. That's how long the Garrett name had been with the Cowboys organization. They pretty much inherited a Garrett. This is what, third year in a row that a Garrett hasn't been affiliated with, as far as we know, as far as what we see on the outside as a head coach, a general manager, a senior VP. We see Jason Garrett on TV as a commentator now, so we want to clear that up. We don't want to say that there are no Garretts in the Jerry Jones or Dallas Cowboy organization because we don't know that for a fact. But what we will say is that when Jerry Jones had Jason Garrett here, there was a Garrett that had been a part of the Cowboys organization for over 30 plus years. That was longer than Jerry Jones owning the team. So when you let go of a family member like that, get to the point, start feeling nostalgic. So then you're like, man, we did not want to let Jason's contract expire. They wanted everything in the universe, the sports universe, for Jason Garrett not to lose that contract. But he couldn't beat a team that he had beat previously almost 9 times. And when it comes 9 consecutive times, almost, it was what, 9 out of 10 he had beaten Philadelphia Eagles playing for the last game of the season. Plus, it gets you into the playoffs. That is what really sealed his fate, having the expectation to make the playoff. Ended up 8-8. That's Jason Garrett. The same way it was when Dak got here, the same way he left. That's the same way Mike McCarthy is going to be unless Jerry Jones does something drastic and remove the head coach. Who cares that he has 1 year left on his deal? Let him go now. If Mike McCarthy was a real head coach, he would fall on the sword for the Dallas Cowboy fan base and walk away. He knows he's not up for the challenge. You could tell by the way he prepares. We've seen it time and time again. What more is it going to take for the Dallas Cowboys fan base to get on Jerry Jones to say, give us a product and a staff that's worthy of paying $300 per ticket with fees and parking. By the time we leave a game, we've spent $200, and we're not complaining about the money. But if you want more people to start walking around with stars on their wrists, you're gonna have to do something better when we come to the games. We're not getting any bang for our buck. We got a head coach that didn't want the quarterback that he has when he first got here. He brought in Ben DiNucci. He was telling us that Ben DiNucci is an NFL quarterback. Ben DiNucci can't even make it in the UFL. And the UFL has some ballers. Keontae Turpin came from the USFL. So they obviously have some players. Ben DiNucci can't even play in the UFL. So how is he a better option than Dak Prescott? The fact is, behind the scenes, when you have Mike McCarthy, who's close with Stephen Jones, who's the son of the president, owner, CEO, and general manager, and they sitting up there playing hopscotch together. And you got my buddy here. He used to be a head coach, Dad. They're like, oh yeah. And plus he has a Super Bowl. Jason Garrett had more Super Bowls than Mike McCarthy. People don't realize that. Jason Garrett had more Super Bowls than Mike McCarthy. So you allow that contract to expire just to bring him in, replace him with somebody who's in there. He's showing you he's in there. And Mr. Jones, for some reason, doesn't want to accept that Mike McCarthy is in there. He can't coach. He can't adjust. He hasn't adjusted. He still seemed to be a deer in headlights. You know, when they tell you New York, New York, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. It's not necessarily New York, New York. It's the city, period. If you're not city minded, if you're not from the streets, if you don't understand what public transportation smells like, feels like, you're not ready for the big city. And Mike McCarthy definitely is not ready for the big city. The number to call, 888-637-7678. Let us know what you think about the draft 2024. Cowboys taking Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma, offensive tackle, someone that's going to be there to block for Dak. Now you're going to see the same thing. Dak's going to go out there. This year, he may have the most yards in the league, and the team still won't do anything because Mike McCarthy is your anchor. He's the weight that's holding you back. Your head coach has been a detriment ever since Jimmy Johnson left. And the reason that is because Dallas is stuck on the past. They didn't want Dak Prescott when he took the team to 13 wins as a rookie. Everybody screaming for Tony under 500 Romo to get back to the hell. That shows that the fan base is has some kind of blockage when it comes to winning. You've been mediocre for so long. Now that you have a winner, you're afraid that, oh man, people are going to expect things from us. Yeah, they expect you to become a winning franchise. First, you have to become a winning franchise. Then you become a playoff contending franchise. Then you play for a Super Bowl. Everybody in Dallas has those big expectations because they're in the big D. But now you're showing how big dumb you are when you're not supporting the number one quarterback in the NFL. You should be supporting the number one quarterback in the NFL if you have the number one franchise. But you sit back, you cry, we want Tony Romo back. Tony Romo not even a good analyst anymore. Once they saw all the shucks, gee golly williger, man, Tony Romo is garbage as a commentator as he was as a quarterback. Jerry Jones put lipstick on a pig and y'all thought it was a cow. Or however long Tony Romo was here. Just check his record. The only thing that Tony Romo has is the passing yards and the touchdown totals. The reason that is Troy Aikman wasn't it wasn't the passing offense that it is today. There's no way that Tony Romo is in the same league as Troy Aikman. That's why you saw Rain Dakota Prescott come in as a rookie and take his team from him. The team. That's what you have to realize when you're talking about your head coach. He doesn't fit your team. He wants to be a star, and he's trying to be a star. And that's what you're seeing. You're getting someone trying to be a star. You got to be a star when you walk through the door. The number to call, 888-637-7678, DallasSportsTalkRadio.com.